Like an Heiress by Nichols. Like an Heiress was written in England by Grace Nichols shortly after a return trip to her Caribbean birthplace of Georgetown, Guyana in South America. The poem is a recollection of a visit to a local beach that sits on the Atlantic coast. Yet, instead of being faced with an idyllic view, Nichols is appalled at the wave of discarded rubbish. Nichols expresses guilt and shame at being able to retreat back to her hotel like a tourist, before dwelling on the quick passing of time and what it means for the future of the planet. Being 14 lines, the poem is a sonnet, which is a classic English form of poetry and acts as a nod to Nichols' connection with English culture. By using an English form to write about a Guyanese subject, she is bringing together two aspects of her cultural identity as someone raised in one country, but who has spent much of their adulthood in another. The poem opens immediately with a simile, like an heiress. An heiress is a female who's inherited wealth or property. This could convey the pride in the connection that she feels with her hometown. A view reinforced by the reference to eye-catching jewels, which in turn conveys how Nichols is drawn back by a treasured connection to her childhood home. Certainly, there is a tone of pleasant nostalgia as she remembers her small days as an infant playing by the Atlantic Ocean. In contrast, the imagery of the deserted beach creates an air of sadness, which becomes one of horror at the plastic pollution and waste. The list telling the reader of the range of discarded items that makes up the wave of rubbish depicts the enormity of the problem. Nichols' appalled response is suggested by how she approves of the ocean rightly returning humanity's trash. It has no place in the sea. Moreover, the personification of the sea creates an image of it as an angry being ridding itself of the discarded rubbish by tossing it onto the shoreline. The idea of the ocean's mood swings is a further display of this anger. The second half of the poem sees a slight shift as Nichols turns her attention to her view. The metaphor of the sun's burning treasury is ambiguous, as treasury suggests the value of the sun, but burning indicates Nichols' fear about the planet being destroyed by the effects of climate change. As Nichols returns to her hotel, she feels a sense of shame and guilt as she heads back like a tourist, because even though she is from Guyana, her home for many decades has been in England. As a result, this simile expresses a sense of her disconnect with her hometown, a paradox of belonging but also feeling alienated at the same time. Nichols' feelings of guilt are further emphasized when she refers to her hotel room as a sanctuary, somewhere she can retreat to after things have become too much, a luxury denied to the locals. The allusion to air-conditioned coolness conveys her privilege as a tourist, while further highlighting the cost to the environment of man-made luxuries. To her credit, Nichols is self-consciously aware of the hypocrisy of her situation. Maybe this is why, in the final line of the poem, she makes a strong message about the urgent need to tackle climate change before it's too late for the Earth. Note how the pronoun our strongly implies the view that change can only happen if we do it collectively. Like an Heiress is in part concerned with the natural world, so it is an appropriate companion to other nature-focused poems such as With Birds You're Never Lonely, Shall Earth No More Inspire Thee, and Lines Written in Early Spring. The negative impact of humanity on nature is also explored in A London Drawing Room and, more implicitly, A Wider View. Elsewhere, the connection between the individual's identity and nostalgia for their past is also present in A Portable Paradise.